welcome back to Star Wars Armada Explained. I'm Karnak. Today I am reshooting the Boarding Engineers Trooper because I did make a bit of an error in my last explanation. Just wanted to make sure that I was covering the card correctly. So what's Boarding Engineers? Well, it's a boarding team card. It is a card that takes up 2 upgrade slots to equip, that being a weapons team and offensive retrofit. This card, how can you tell that it takes those slots? If you look in the bottom left hand corner of the card, you will see the weapons team icon and the offensive retrofit icon. And this card needs to be equipped to a ship that has both of these icons. It can't just be one or the other. It needs to have both. Now, of course, a ship could have multiple of these icons, and as long as you have those slots free, you could equip this card to. Again, needs to have a weapons team and an offensive retrofit slot. Card costs 2 points. Boarding Engineers, the card reads, when you reveal a command, you may discard a squadron dial or token and this card to choose one enemy ship at close range. Look at its face down damage cards and flip a number of them face up to the engineering value one at a time. Up to your engineering value one at a time. This card does have a bit of clarification, which reads, to resolve this card's effect, choose the face down damage cards to be flipped, then flip this card's face up one at a time. A face down damage card cannot be chosen more than once while resolving this effect. So, for these damage cards, how does this work? Well, you need to have something that is capable of equipping the card to it, and you need to be at close range of your target, and you need to be able to spend a squadron dial or token. So let's use this hammerhead for example. You need to make sure that you are in close range, which depending on how you've positioned your ship, how do you check if you're in close range? Well, this clear circle here, the black circle is close range. That blue circle being medium range. You check the range. I'm in range. I can clearly see that the Star Destroyer is in range. Then it's the timing of the card is when you reveal a command. So it's right when you pop that command dial up and say, if it's a squadron dial, you can either spend it. If you have a squadron token bank, you can either spend that and not the dial. So you can't, for example, shoot and then move with the ship and then choose to activate board engineers. That's not the timing of it. You have to use the board engineers when you activate. Of course, you choose if you want to use the card or not. Then once you have decided you're going to be using board engineers, you've spent the token, you've checked the range, you discard the card as well. You do discard the card after use. Then if your opponent, in this example, we're going to be using the Star Destroyer, depending on how many damage cards, or depending on what has happened to a ship, you collect all of the face down damage cards that are on that ship, and you get to look at all of them. Now, obviously, the face-up cards that are already dealt to the ship, you can't take to choose because they're already displayed face-up. You can only take face-down cards. So the Boarding Engineers team actually allows you to turn all of the face-down damage cards on a ship face-up, and then you can look at them. Now you get to choose which card you want to resolve or put back up on the ship face-up, one at a time. Also, you can't resolve any cards for which you would then, for example, if it says, choose and do something and flip this card face down. So, for example, we're going to choose Injured Crew, which reads, choose and discard one of your defensive tokens, then flip this card face down. So you say, ooh, I want that one. And so if the Star Destroyer has to then choose a defensive token to discard, which one you want. And then you would flip this card face down. You hand that back to your opponent. You cannot re-choose the same card. You can't say, okay, now give me that back. I want to do it again. You can't do that. It's to prevent some cards from being too overpowered, like structural damage. This card here that we just chose, the Injured Crew, the projector misaligned, or shield failure. It's to prevent your opponent from, he's still punishing you, but now he's not punishing you so badly. And then you choose another card that you still have in your hand that was face up, and then you choose the second one because the hammerhead only has an engineering value of 2, so you can only choose 2 cards. Obviously, depending on the ship it's equipped to, you could theoretically choose more cards than that. But again, only can choose a number of cards up to engineering value. and then you choose your second one. We'll say, we're going to give your ship damage controls, and you give that, and that card actually stays face up. Then you take the card that any cards that you haven't flipped face up, you put them back face down, hand them back to your opponent, and he puts them back face down next to his ship again. So that is how boarding engineers works. Um, there are some people who have some confusion about an interaction with a rebel commander, and that is General Dodona. So let's read about General Dodona. So his ability reads, before an enemy ship is dealt a face-up damage card, look at the top 4 cards of the damage deck. Place one on top of the deck, and then discard the others. So General Dodona only activates when dealing damage, when you have dealt a damage card. These cards have already been dealt and are already assigned to the ship. You're not dealing any damage to be able to trigger Dodona's effect. You can't just suddenly say, oh, I'm going to flip this card face up, and then, haha, I get to draw 3 new face up cards from your damage deck and then pick whatever I want. That's not how that works, because, again, Dodona is only when you have dealt a damage to a ship where it would take a critical effect. So hopefully that clears up any confusion with boarding troopers. Of course, if I got anything wrong or you see anything in error, please be sure to let me know. Otherwise, check the video description if there's any minor clarifications at all. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.